Hello again. Welcome back to episode 5 of Trials Talk. Quite a busy little episode this time. So, we're going to talk a little bit about. I've had a few messages about the ladies and girls first and second rounds. We've second and third rounds of TrialGB. I'm reading it off my phone here, my little prompt notes in case you wonder what I'm doing. We've rounds 3 and 4 of X Trial. And then, of course, this weekend, we've got the first round of the TrialGP World Championship coming up in Spain. So, before we go any further, I will mention actually we've got Sam from SJ Trials has very kindly agreed to sponsor this little episode again. So again, thank you very much. All your trials needs at sjtrials.com. Also, he has decided to sponsor Jorge Casales in the TrialGP Championship and our very own Harry Turner as well. So brilliant. Well done, Sam, for sticking your hand in your pocket and helping some boys out. So first off, we'll go to the first two rounds of the ladies and girls championships. Now, I had a couple of messages, people asking me just could we mention it because it's not really sort of out in the sort of greater media or whatever. I did look for results, and actually Hugo's looked for them as well. They're not sort of really that readily available. The results that I could find weren't even readable. So what I'll do is I'll try and find a set of results from somewhere, and I'll put them in the bottom or the top of the screen or wherever it fits best when I edit the video. So I'll put in the top 3 from all the relevant grades and stuff. So we will.
I found them on.
Hopefully. Sorry, Hugo.
They're on the North Berks Facebook page. You can see them on there.
Right.
But
okay.
Really, the first thing that jumps out is why aren't they like shared out by the ACU and widely available?
Yeah. Well, I think that was sort of pretty much the point of the messages that I got as well. So
yeah.
Try and maybe just highlight that. I mean, sometimes these things can get overlooked, which is not ideal, but it happens.
Yeah. I know it's great for the men. Well, for the adult men's ones this year, we've got Jazz is doing a good job on the media, and like every round, it's good to see a bit of social media content coming out of it. But I know it was the same for the one like the youth rounds. I think there was one at Non-Stop in South Wales, and I know they were a bit miffed because there was no real like sharing of the results or a write up or anything from the ACU. So
yeah.
Maybe if they've got it for the men's, hopefully it'll come in for the other.
Hopefully, like you say, hopefully that'll sort of filter down, and obviously Jazz, like you say, Jazz is doing it for the main TrialGB championship, but she's riding in the ladies one, so it'd be a bit tricky.
Yeah.
No, you never know. Yeah, live broadcasts and live videos and stuff maybe. Anyway, so like I say, if I can find a set of results that we can actually a decent resolution that we can put in the video, we'll do that. If not, I'll put like the top 3 from all the grades in somewhere either up there, down there, over there, whatever it is. So British Championship then, we've had a couple of rounds since the last episode. First round, probably slightly over the top, but as we mentioned in the previous episode, with a new sort of time limit and everything else, it's maybe, that's probably fair enough, a few teething issues or whatever.
Yeah.
Seemed like the St. David's, the Neath club, isn't it, that runs that?
Yeah.
I think they probably got it pretty much bang on, looking at the results and the scores and everything else.
Yeah.
You were there, so
I'd say that was about right really. For the length of the sections was good, the severity was good. You had your harder ones and your steadier ones to sort of even the results out a little bit, sort of thing. Just the same thing remains really, and I don't know what the answer is, but like the overall time limit for the event.
Yeah,
I know they've lengthened it by 20 minutes overall, I think, but you've got that 30 seconds per section for every rider that adds up. It's just honestly, it's been like an enduro. I think everyone will say the same as well. You're like running around walking sections. It's like rushing all day, and you're forced usually come the last lap. It's like a lottery where you're taking fives to try, like you're almost like hedging your bets that that one's probably hard. I'll take a 5 on that one to save a bit of time. And then I got done this weekend because I didn't take a 5 on one, and a few people obviously did. Come to the next section, and there was like a queue of like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
So I had to take 5s on like the last 4 sections. Then
you end up taking a 5 in a section that you could clean, or you definitely through anyway.
Yeah, when you add up the riders in front of you and their minute and a half, it's more than 5 marks. So you've got to do it, which isn't really the game, is it? But
no.
And I don't know what the answer is, because if you give everyone an extra 20 minutes, they'll
just use it.
Just use your 20 minutes, and So
yeah, I mean,
I'm whinging, but I don't have the answer.
No, but I think I did say this in the last one. We did talk about this in one of either the first or second episode. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, if you give a rider a minute and a half, they're going to use a minute and a half, whether they need it or not.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that the format with 1 minute, I think for me anyway, maybe it's just my simple mathematical brain. I'm not really a mathematical person, but 1 minute is just easier to understand than 1.5.
Yeah.
And I think from a spectator point of view, it's probably just, well, it's a minute and that's it. It's not a minute and a half, not 90 seconds, it's 60 seconds. I don't know why I have that sort of thing about just keep it simple.
Yeah.
And I think it works. And the 1 minute, it keeps it a bit sort of faster paced. It keeps it a little bit slicker for the spectators and everything.
Yeah.
And I just think they've sort of tried to fix a problem they didn't really have.
Yeah. I think the only problem that there is the mediation of the section length from like round to round and stuff. Because when it was a minute, some of them you had to like really get a shift on to get anywhere near it in a minute. And then this year it's gone up to a minute and a half, and the sections were meant to stay the same length.
The same sort of length,
but now you've got probably an added element or 2 in the section. If you do it all right, it's fine in the time, but the last 2 rounds have been signed for like section length, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just the overall time limit is the thing now, where you're like racing around all day. But
yeah, and that's just the additional 30 seconds for all the riders.
Presuming so, yeah. It's just it really does add up when you've got
it does, yeah. So two riders is a minute, an extra minute. Yeah. The sort of I suppose the overall sort of championship things are a bit skewed at the minute. I looked at the championship positions, but they're a bit skewed because obviously Toby was the St David's trial, so I think he's 5th in the championship or something at the minute. But obviously he's got a win and a 2nd place or whatever it is. But I think this year you're allowed to drop around. Is it 9 rounds but 8 count?
Yeah, I think definitely in TrialGB anyway you can do that. I'm not sure of the other classes, but definitely the top class.
Yeah, like that. Which is fair enough if somebody's trying to make their way on the world stage sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
because there's been quite a few dates that have clashed. I'm surprised actually.
That hasn't.
I'm surprised that he got back from, was it Austria? I think it was Austria, to ride in Wood the next day.
I was talking to him that morning, and they finished off at the arena at like 11:30, packed all the stuff up.
Yeah.
Went to the hotel for like 3 hours sleep. They had a flight at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Had a van packed ready at Heathrow. Just landed, got in the van, came straight to the trial.
Yeah. And put in a stellar first lap.
Yeah, to turn up and be able to ride like he does after that is
it's
fair play.
And that's the bit that the sort of Joe Blogs just standing there watching doesn't really see or understand necessarily. I understand it. I've done British Championships and stuff back in the day, and all the traveling and whatever, and you understand it. You've done Trial 2 and the Junior World Championship as well. It's it really isn't just as glamorous a lifestyle perhaps as it's made out to be.
No, there's a lot that goes with it, isn't there? But
yeah,
I'm sure he wouldn't change for the world.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean that's what he wants to do. I'm fair
Yeah,
play to him, and I hope his crowdfund thing. I hope that
yeah,
works out for him, because I mean, look, arguably we've already lost Jack Price, Dan Peace. You
mm,
know, you can't afford to lose. Oh, it was good to see Dan out again at the weekend there, actually, but
yeah, yeah. It was good to see
you
that.
can't afford to be losing that sort of talent out of the sport.
No, it's probably worth saying that if there are any businesses or brands or anything out there that feel they could help Toby on his journey, then get in touch
Absolutely,
with them.
and I will put a link to Toby Martin's crowdfund. I'll put it in the description of the video. Good point. Yeah, we'll do that. Um, yeah, I noticed somebody had shared it on Facebook there, and the first comment was sort of 50 grand. That's a bit steep, and I'm sort of thinking 50 grand's probably about half of what he needs. Um,
Yeah, you're not going to. It's a difficult. He's never going. He's not expecting to get 50 grand from people, is he? But it's just
no,
where do you sort of
yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
put a
you've
500.
those crowdfund things. You have to put a figure on it. You have
Yeah,
to have a sort of maximum, or not a maximum, but you have to have a target.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think he's probably done the right thing there.
yeah. I know he's not expecting to get that much from it, but you've got
Yeah,
to sort of. It
yeah,
shows the enormity of the cost of a season, doesn't it? As well.
exactly. Yeah. Well, aim high. Why not?
Yeah,
Fair play. I mean, he's got Alex Wig to pay there too, and what do you call the guy, Rich, that does the
yeah,
British
Rich
Championship with
Martin.
him as well. So you know, it's not easy for any of those guys. Even
No,
even lost some top riders from TrialGP as well. So
yeah,
it's not just a UK. It's not just a UK issue. It's an issue for the sport worldwide.
mm,
Um, but anyway, back to the British Championship. So St David's was Jack Peace, Harry Hemmel, second place, very good
mm,
ride. Billy Green third. Um, G Man, well, that was his first Trial 2 victory.
mm,
Unbelievable on a 125, isn't it?
yeah. Fair play to the kid.
Yeah,
You
brilliant.
can,
I think that's great.
yeah, I do. Yeah,
It would be awesome if there were, two or three more coming there.
mm,
I love to see that.
yeah.
Uh,
He's definitely one to watch.
isn't he just?
I mean,
Uh,
already, but going
yeah,
forward.
it'll be interesting to see this weekend in the trial 125, or whatever they call it, trial 3 now. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
I think, did they take the age limit off that class? Because there's a couple of names in that class I noticed
Ah,
that I think,
I think they have done actually, haven't they? Yeah.
yeah, I think there might be a bit of sandbagging going on there.
Oh, have you
Um,
seen? Is there an entry list out?
there's a list of registered riders. Sorry, excuse me for
Oh yeah.
phone here, but I'll see if I can riders trial 3. Yeah, there was a young German fella that I recognize his name because he rode in the European round at the Bob McGregor last year, and I
Right.
think he was on a 250 or a 300
Yeah.
RS, and now he's riding trial 3 in the World Championship. Let me see if I can find his name. It was Johannes Heidel. Um, he's a pretty good goer in the German Championship as well.
Yes, I do know who he is actually. Yeah.
He's quite a sort of short, stocky
Yeah.
character. I'm not being sizist saying that. Just that's the best way to
No,
describe him.
I know who you mean. Yeah.
um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. And there's a Danish, or sorry, not a Danish, one of the Norwegian ones as well in there, that I think was riding in a more senior class in the European Championship, and is now
Mm.
riding trial 3.
It's probably
Um,
not a bad shout for people trying to like if you get the Trial 3 world title, I suppose it's something for your name and
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
why not? Give it a go. Um, yeah, there's a few. I actually wrote down the numbers, but we're going on to the trial GP in a minute, so we'll leave that for now. But
Yeah.
um, Yeah, so the Bootle then last weekend, that's a new venue, looked good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Coombsy for the live videos. I spent most of Sunday watching those. So top top job, Mark.
Always got
And Jazz,
something.
actually, Jazz was doing live videos as well. So that's the official channel. So we need to give that one a shout out too.
Yeah.
So it was close enough between Toby and Jack.
Yeah, I don't actually know what their final. I saw the scores after the second lap for them, where
Yeah,
they
it was only a mark or two in it. I think it was
right.
pretty close. So
It's going to be like a repeat of last year between them two, probably.
yeah. It's good to
Terms of the
see.
wire.
It's good, because
Yeah, really good.
kind of one's pushing. They're pushing each other,
Hmm.
and that'll always lead to everybody sort of stepping up. Then
Yeah, it's healthy for the
um,
sport.
Billy Green again third.
Hmm.
G-Man won again. Uh, it
Yeah,
just seems to be. Um, I think once he's it's just clicked for him. He's got the tempo or whatever it is for
yeah.
that class now. And I
Hmm.
think he'll just continue
When
that,
you some of the rides you see him have, it's for his age, it's pretty special.
isn't it?
Yeah,
He's got a very old head on his
yeah,
young shoulders. When you
unbelievably. Yeah,
watch some of you see more experienced riders making.
yeah.
You'd expect him to be making the mistakes, but he's not. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's taken that to the next level there. That's excellent.
Yeah,
And then we've had the same first two actually in the expert class. It's been Dan Thorpe and Brad Bullock
yeah.
in the last couple of rounds. So those two are sort of um, doing it for let's say the more senior riders. I don't want to be unkind. Um,
Whether Brad sees himself as more senior or not,
well, maybe not. I'm probably being a bit unfair to Brad there, to be fair.
but
But anyway, um, he's kind of been there, done that, hasn't he?
yeah,
He had a few seasons on the world
still
stuff.
takes some doing to beat Dan though in that
So
expert class.
steady, such a
Hmm.
steady rider, and you sort of watch him and you sort of think, how is he? It looks almost effortless.
Yeah,
Sometimes the way he rides, it's yeah, annoyingly talented.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, we had an E class. For that was the first round of the electric bike
Hmm.
championship, which was won by Chris Pearson and Will Brockbank. I think it was second.
Yeah,
Um, so I think
I
they
thought
were riding.
Chris had a fair. If you like looked at his scores, I saw he would have been third in the expert class, wouldn't he, as well? So
Yeah, well,
fair
that
going.
that's kind of what I do with even with the youths. Actually, I didn't mention the youths, so we had two rounds there. It's the same podium, but just the opposite way around, nearly. So round two was Harrison Skelton,
Yeah.
Harry Blackwell, and then Daniel DeBreo, and then round three was Harry Blackwell, Daniel DeBreo, and Harrison Skelton. So those guys seem to be fairly evenly matched there. So that'll
Hmm.
be a tight
That's pretty
little,
good too, isn't it?
yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be a tight little battle going through the season too. Um, but yeah, their scores were sort of in the top 15 as well. So
Yeah.
in the expert
Which is
classes. So
where they, I suppose, is where they want to look to be in it
that's
going
it.
into
Well,
like next year and everything like
that's
that.
the sort of next step, the logical sort of next step.
Hmm.
So um, yeah, E
Yeah.
class. Those guys were, yeah, as you say, Chris would have been third, I think it was
Yeah. Would have been, I think. Yeah.
in the expert class. So that's, yeah, it's good shooting.
Hmm.
Um,
It was a hell of a
extra.
place that Bootle. You honestly, we walked around on the Saturday and it was like you were looking at lines, oh, we can go to there, we can turn onto that and do this and that. You got there in the morning, once a bit of that, like it's like real peaty mud up there, like black stuff.
Just sticks to everything.
Honestly, yeah, you couldn't do anything that you thought about doing the day before. It was like glass
No,
on this,
no.
just trying to like rattle your way through things. But
Probably have been better if it was absolutely lashing with rain.
maybe, yeah, keep it.
Probably have been grippier. We've a couple of venues over here that are like that.
Hmm.
You get the rocks quite rough.
Yeah.
So the mud really sticks to it. But then if you've got a good shower rain, it sort of washes it all clean. Can be. There's a few places over here actually. It's nearly better if it's bone dry, that's fine. If it's absolutely lashing, that's fine. But anywhere in between, not that nice to ride. which it tends to be quite a lot here. It's never really that dry. It's never really that well. It can be very wet sometimes, but it usually ends up being the worst. Yeah. So X Trial Pamplona was round 3. Pretty predictable. I've been doing little predictions on our Instagram.
Yeah. You've not been doing bad either.
Pamplona, I was off. I think I had the right podium, but in the wrong order. Bordeaux, absolutely smashed it out of the park. First 4. And yeah, so everybody was looking, going, Toby 4th, really? Seriously? Have faith.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pamplona, Toby was 5th, and he had a couple of, I don't want to say bad rides, but I think there was one section, and it was a cable reel. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a cable reel section.
Yeah.
And he 5'd it both times, round 1 and round 2. And I honestly, I felt like he should have been getting that. I thought it was a soft 5. That's easy for me to say, obviously sitting on the comfort watching it, but it just looked, I don't know. But I mean,
yeah, it's hard to say. I bet I know what you mean. Sometimes you do watch it, even not just for other riders.
Yeah, no, like, exactly. Any rider,
like, yeah, surely you should be doing that sort of, and then, but I bet in person, I bet it's a bit of a different thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a different ball game when you've got a bike between your legs. That's absolutely true. So that was Bo first, Marcelli second, Busto third, Raga off the podium, and be 5th, which actually was he sort of pulled it.
Still a good result.
Yeah, he sort of salvaged that one a wee bit, which was good. But Bordeaux 3rd after the first lap for Toby was absolutely mega. He rode brilliantly. Again, I watched it on I have the X Trial Live app.
Yeah.
Which is really good for anybody who thinks, I'm not sure if I want to spend that money, but actually it's only like €30 or something for a full season, so well worth it. And the coverage is excellent. Coverage is really good. So yeah, Bordeaux podium was Bo, Raga, and Busto. Toby 4th, which was excellent, again ahead of Marcelli.
Yeah.
The one thing,
it is good this year. Busto looks a lot more dangerous to Bo, doesn't he, so far? I don't know if it's just because it's the indoors, but he's taken a few points out of him a lot, like in the first and second round. He did win the one, didn't he? But
yeah, I think outdoor. I thought this World Round this week was in Pobladura, but it's not. It's in Artexio. Artexio, or I don't know how you pronounce it. Excuse my Spanish. Not sure. If it had been in Pobladura, I would have had him for the win, because the last time there was a World Round there, I was there in 2021, I think it was, and he was leading to the last section, I think, and he started sort of showboating a bit and 5'd it and lost the trial. He just looked really comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe a wee bit too comfortable, and then he just lost concentration. But yeah. But saying that, it's been quite close, I think, between the two of them.
Yeah.
So far in the 4 rounds. But somehow Tony still has a 20-point lead in the championship.
Yeah. I think it's just,
he just grinds away, doesn't he? He just grinds the results out.
Ability, just to like pull through, isn't he? Even if when the chips are down or whatever,
he never
must have
gives up.
such a steady head. He just like does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
However he's feeling or whatever.
He just never say never. And then did he five? Was it one of these? I can't remember which round it was, whether it was Pamplona or whether it was Bordeaux. But he fived one of the sections anyway, and then you sort of thought, oh well, that's opened it up.
Yeah.
And then he just goes to the next section, which nobody's getting.
Nobody's done it at all.
And cleaned it.
It's almost getting a bit like that. He's like he needs the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. He cleans it with like 15 seconds to spare. It's not even. It's just like yeah, whatever.
They're the ones where he sort of shines more, aren't they? When they have to go there and back, and it's tight in the time.
Tight on time, yeah.
No one seems to be like near it in the time limit, and he just like floats through it like he's on wings, isn't it?
There was one that I think it was the first. I think it was the very first section actually in Bordeaux. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I have seen it. I did watch it. Yeah,
the one where they sort of back wheeled across all the concrete.
The crash barrier thing. Yeah.
Well, on the way back when they had to go from the concrete back onto the block, and Tony didn't get the timing right. And no, did you see the recovery? When he hit the front wheel into it and still was able to come back onto the wall. That was incredible. That was I mean, he still fived the section, but it was
pretty impressive, that bit, wasn't it?
That was impressive. I don't know. I mean, just the presence of mind. I mean, the thought process even there to think
how quick thinking it was. Like,
it's another level. Those guys, like, definitely. So it's tight also between Raga and Marcelli for third.
All right.
I think there's 1 point between them. It's 45 to 46 or 46 to 47.
Yeah.
And sort of Bustos, he's in the middle there. I think it's 79, 59, 46, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think
how many rounds are left in that?
I think
at the end of the game again.
6 or 7. I think there's 10 rounds total.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it seems to be a long season. Hold on a minute. I also had the X Trial thing open there. Where is it? X Trial. Let's see.
They usually have like 4 or 5, don't they?
Yeah, but they've sort of split the season in two. I know I can't get it.
Yeah, they've got some at the end after.
So yeah, there's maybe it's another 4. There's another 4, I think, in September, October, November, December. I think
that's quite good, isn't it? Make it a proper championship rather than just like 3 rounds or something.
Yeah, like just something to do over the winter time.
It's pretty good. It's easier to make a broadcast of, isn't it? So it's a good thing to watch for people.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think the format change and everybody riding 2 rounds.
Much better.
Yeah.
The one thing I wish they would do is make like, even for the 3 that go through to the final, that their score should like carry through the whole night, I think. Do you know, like, because when it gets to the final, it refreshes, doesn't it? It'd be good if it, like, the whole night counted towards their final results.
Yeah, well, I suppose maybe what they're trying to stop there is if Tony's just annihilated everybody in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. If he has, isn't it?
They're going to be, well, I mean, he's probably going to win it anyway, so it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But
more like a trial is what I was thinking. But
yes, exactly, all 3 laps. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yes, Grattarola. Brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant to see Grattarola back looking like he could ride a trials bike.
Yeah.
In Bordeaux. He was not great again in Pamplona, but Bordeaux we seem to have. Although there has been the first round of the Italian Championship took place as well, and he won that. So maybe that's just given him that little.
Did he have some issue? Did he have an operation or something?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. If it's that's been holding him back, but
possibly
he definitely didn't Hasn't looked the same since he left the beta, has he? But
No,
maybe it just coincides with whatever he had going on. But...
Yeah, well, I think it was quite a short notice sort of change, probably from beta to vertigo, and then he had a couple of injuries and whatever else.
Yeah,
It's probably just not been the best of starts for him, but
no,
it was, I mean, genuinely good to see him back.
Yeah,
looking like the sort of the Grattarola of the last few years. Anyway, he just sort of came back out of nowhere, didn't he? And then boom,
yeah,
check me out. Look what I can do. Right. So I fancy a cup of tea. So we're going to take a short break there.
yeah.
And we'll talk about the first round of TrialGB or TrialGP, sorry, World Championship.
Can't get them right. TrialGB, GP.
GP. Right, welcome back. Got my tea. So this weekend then sees the opening round of the 23 TrialGP World Championship. Looked on the TrialGP website and was shocked that in the TrialGP riders there doesn't seem to be any Adam Raga listed, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be there and he's going to be riding, but it's just not on the website. Also,
give it a sly way to reply.
Yeah, he kept that one quiet.
Keep it quiet, not enter.
Just not turn up. No, I'm pretty sure he'll be there. So we have 9 TrialGP riders, 14 TrialGP women.
Is that 9 including Raga?
Yeah.
Not many, is it?
No, it's not, is it?
No. I could do it. I'll get a top 10.
Why not? I'll mind.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. It might be a busy day.
Hey, what are you saying?
Trial 2, 42 riders.
Wow.
Yeah. Trial 3 or Trial 125 as it used to be, 18 riders. So a total of 83. That's registered riders. Whether they all turn up at every event, who knows? But I'm guessing probably it's probably not that cheap to register. I don't know what it costs now to register.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You used to just like you count as registered if you'd entered a round, I think, before, basically.
Right.
What it used to be, but
because I know now it costs money. Even you have to register your minder. A minder has to have a minder's license.
Oh yeah, that's always been the case. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems.
Which is they and like have to have a medical for the minder and all sorts of things. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much it costs now, but when I was doing it, like the licenses for me and Dad for mine were over 600 quid.
Yeah,
with everything.
I think it's about the same now. I remember talking to Jamie Galloway.
Yeah,
and I think that's what it was for them to do that one in Scotland last year. It was a serious amount of money for one round, like
yeah.
Something like £600 by the time they did all the licenses. And,
yeah, like it gets you your insurance and everything. But
yeah, the start permission, international license, start permission, all that stuff. But
yeah, but it's a lot of things go into it. Isn't it?
It's not. I mean, I remember. Again, if you go back to sort of late 90s, early noughties, British World Round, you'd have had half, if not more, maybe, of the regular British Championship guys.
Yeah,
all riding. And I think, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe they want to stop that. Maybe they want to keep the level of the field higher. I don't know. But everybody likes a sort of a local hero.
Yeah.
You know, you always get somebody who's really prepared to give it a go. Just crashes their brains out all day, probably. But
and it's a good thing to be able to, like, when you've got a round in your country, it's a pretty special thing to be able to ride in a world championship. Isn't it?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that one is, but um, maybe that's something for the sort of every country's federation, maybe to come step up and sort of maybe support their riders and put them forward as a wild card or something like that. Maybe that's what they're trying to.
Yeah, I was thinking about bringing that up then, but yeah, I know it's part of the RFME Spanish Federation, like a Spanish license for like trials license for the RFME is like, I'm sure it's a couple of €100 for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then that goes, so a portion of that money goes into like a development team that go to world rounds and Europeans and stuff.
Yeah.
So personally, I think that's the way to sort of grow your talent pool, isn't it? If you can fund that through like the licensing body.
Yeah, well, what we
I know
mentioned.
there used to be an under-23 training squad, which was great for sort of helping you out, getting out to Europeans and things like that. Still going, but that's sort of a great help. But sort of it stops when you go to world level because you're considered like a professional.
Yeah.
Whereas really that should be where you're like really get behind people, isn't it? To give them the best shot.
Absolutely. And we sort of mentioned that previously. I mean, there's Toby having to fund, flip me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what an ACU license is. About 20 quid, is it, for the trial registration or whatever? 20 quid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure our license. Well, we've had a bit of an issue with insurance and stuff, so we've sort of changed. I think we're going to go down the line of MRA, which look after sort of the rest of the off-road side of sport here. They're still affiliated to the FIM through the MCUI. However that works, they're like a subsidiary sort of company. But the MCUI will only be dealing with road racing and short circuit, sort of track racing and stuff. So all the off-road side of the sport, motocross, enduro, supermoto, is looked after by the MRA, and I think all the trials clubs now have agreed that they're going to affiliate to the MRA and get our licenses that way. Well, I've already got an MRA license, so I hope to do that. But it's 50 quid for an MRA license. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the trials riders, speaking out of turn maybe, but most of the trials riders in England, I would have thought, if they thought the money was going to help,
I think that would be the.
I'm sure they'd probably pay 50 quid for a license if they thought it was gonna help with.
Yeah, I definitely would, but I think it's if they just put out 50 quid, up to 50 quid or whatever, and didn't say anything, you would be a bit like, oh, is that gone up? If they said, right, putting it up to 50 quid, the extra 30 quid is all going in the pot to help get our younger riders out to go around. Then you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, fair. They want to do something. I mean, that as you mentioned there, that RFME team, they've a truck that's like the bloody Montesa truck that takes all their youth trials guys round round Europe through the season.
Yeah, they must have a great, like, when I was at them, they'd all be like sleeping in the truck, like in the bunk beds and stuff. They'd have like 15 riders in the tent and everything.
Yeah,
you'd have a great time doing it,
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And well, I mean, look at the sport. Look who's dominating. Well, I mean, almost every form of motorcycle sport at the minute. Motocross, there's some good Spanish goers there. There's even enduro, trials is just I mean, you're going to struggle to be in the top 5 if you're not Spanish. Although fingers crossed, Toby's going to be pushing to get in. But yeah, so TrialGP. I mean, the TrialGP women. I think barring some sort of disaster, Emma's. I mean,
but yeah, you definitely wouldn't bet against her, would you?
No. I mean,
she's already become a formidable force, isn't she? In that
number 9, is it now? World Championship number 9.
Yeah.
Still annoys me slightly that Sherco haven't brought out an Emma Bristow replica. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's a bit. I mean, they brought out a Fiardo replica, and he's never won a world championship.
Yeah. That is a funny one.
Yeah, I don't know. And there's enough girls riding trials now. Um,
Yeah.
that'd be a good seller. I think they're missing a trick there, but
Yeah. I'd say it'd be a worthy model, wouldn't it?
yeah, an EBR. I mean, we've had a JBR. Why not have an EBR?
Definitely.
Um, Berta probably runner up.
Yeah. I always sort of thought kind of like a year or well, a couple of years ago, she might turn into more of a sort of challenger for Emma, but
Yeah,
Emma seems to have stepped up her game as Berta has probably, so
yeah, but I
stayed
think
ahead. But
Emma's. I don't know. Emma. I kind of look at Emma and I think like she's the Tony Bow of
yeah,
the female side of the sport because she keeps trying to push the technique and the level to. I mean, some of
yeah,
the stuff
I know
she's
what you mean.
posting, some of the stuff she posts there on Instagram, what she's doing
Mhm.
is out of this world compared to her sort of her
Yeah,
peers in that class. Um, Naomi Monye, I know we've mentioned her before for
yeah,
for the wrong reasons, but um, again, she's posting some fairly tidy little
mm,
practice clips. I mean, obviously Instagram, Instagram versus
yeah,
reality. We all know how
yeah,
it goes, but um, yeah, she seems to be sort of trying to push that level as well.
mm,
She seems quite driven. Uh,
yeah. She's
you
quite
know,
committed. And she's like, "We'll have a go." Sort of.
she's not afraid to have a go. She's also putting the work in. She's posting pictures like out cycling, gym,
Mm,
all that type of stuff as well. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be the top three. What
mm,
positions the second and third ones are in, I'm not sure. It could go either way there, I think.
yeah.
I think
I,
probably over the course of the season, maybe Berta just has that slight edge,
yeah,
maybe.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, for
got
me, the
some.
most exciting one to watch is Trial 2 because
Well,
there's so many good
yeah,
pictures.
we've got some good British interest in TrialGP women as well, now, haven't we? With Emma, I think Alice Minter,
Alice,
Alicia Robinson,
Caitlin, Alicia.
Caitlin. Yeah, so we've
Yeah.
got some
Yeah.
good horses in the race in that one now.
Yeah. And I think maybe a bit unfair, actually, maybe a bit unfair not to mention them in a potential podium.
Yeah, because I think
Alice certainly is
all three
riding
of
well.
them. Yeah, Alice is.
And I know she was out practicing with Emma for a while
Mm, I
there.
think they could be challenging the likes of like Naomi Monnier
Yeah.
and that on a good day. So
Yeah. Well, let's hope
we'll
so.
see. Yeah, let's hope
Let's
so.
hope so. We'll
Depends on the
find out.
going as well, doesn't it? If it's typically Spanish or if there's a bit of slippiness and banks and that's something involved,
Yeah.
could sway things
Well,
either way.
that
Not sure what it's like there.
Pobladura. I don't know what the Artesio, however they pronounce
Yeah.
that place, is like, but that Pobladura one, I don't
That
know.
was real natural place, isn't it?
Yeah, did you ride in
Yes.
Pobladura?
I did once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, you must have.
Yeah.
That
Definitely did, didn't we?
was a cracking venue, I thought.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good there.
Bit of variety as well. There's a couple of river sections. There's a couple of sort of hillsidey type climb type things, and
Yeah.
some sort of rock outcrop type.
Rock.
And then obviously you've got your man-made stuff as well there too. But um,
Yeah.
so I don't know what this. I know it's been used for a Spanish championship a couple of times. I think this
Yeah, it hasn't it? Yeah.
Artesio place, but I don't think there's been a word around on it before. But yeah, yeah. So hopefully, yeah, like you say, hopefully the British girls can battle for a podium spot there.
Bit
Maybe
challenging there,
I'm sure that's got to be probably what most of them have in their sights. I would imagine.
yeah. Yeah. It should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
Should aim for
I
it.
think it's an achievable an achievable goal for most of them.
Yeah.
Right, trial 2. Again, like I say, there's 42 registered for that. Whether they all turn up,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, there's some good names in there. Obviously we've got our homegrown guys. Jack, obviously.
Yeah.
Harry, Billy,
Harry.
the other Harry, young Harry, Hemo. I hope I haven't left anybody else out. Harry Turner,
Jack Dance.
Jack Dance. Yeah, so there's, I mean, what's that? That's 6 British.
I think Ollie Smith's going out there, I think, as well.
I think actually he's registered as well. Now that you mention that, yeah, I saw his name on there.
He's out there.
So there's plenty. The one rider I was quite surprised at being in that class, Pablo Suarez. I was quite surprised.
What do you think? What did you think he might be going up? Or?
I thought he might have been in TrialGP because I think he rides that. He rides the top class, I think, in the Spanish Championship.
Yeah.
Mind you, so does Sandra Haga, and he's stayed in Trial 2, even though he's Trial 2 world champion. But
yeah, well, Sandre's the gas deal was to do Trial 2 again, I think, from there.
Yeah, probably try.
Maybe so. If you're not ready, you've got to be ready to go up and do them sections. So, but also pretty like bold claim to go back in it because it's a stiff one to win again, isn't it? Like if you win that 2 years on the run, then
yeah, I mean he's got a pretty big target on his back.
Yeah, and like I say, with the likes of Suarez, like
Arnold Farr, like Gandola, there's lots of good guys in there.
And it's going to take some winning that.
Yeah, and it's so tight as well. It's so competitive at the top that a slack 5 somewhere, and you've probably got 5 places.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it was last year, wasn't it? It looked fairly steady last year, scores wise, didn't it? A lot of the reps. I don't know what it'd be like this year. Yeah, there was a lot of times where they were like the top 10 were all under 20 marks or under 30, weren't
they? And again, when you think back, and we mentioned this when we were talking to Jack actually, you battled with Toby for the World Championship, and then in 21 and then in 22, where did he end up? Was he 3rd or 4th in the championship?
Something
like that. Yeah. So it just shows how competitive. Like he said, he admitted himself he didn't have just as good a season as he had the year before, and it was it's such a competitive class.
Yeah.
Let me just find out. I think there's somebody.
It'd be the most frustrating thing in the world when the passes are so tight like that, but also the most rewarding as well, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the more people that are in the class, the more what's the word? The better you're going to feel if you win it.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find Trial 2. There's somebody else who jumped out at me when I looked at the rider list. Let me just get this page up again here. Yeah, Jack Dant. Oh, Ben Dignan. Forgot to mention Ben Dignan.
Oh yeah, he's basically Spanish anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Yeah, he's full time out there, isn't he?
Yeah, fair play. He's on a Mont now too, isn't he?
He's on Montesa now as well. Yeah. So you've still Hugo de Vries as well in there. Good rider.
Is he riding like a sort of privateer type thing now? Because I know he's got a gas, hasn't he? But it's all no stickers on. And
yeah, probably because I mean,
he's been injured.
I don't like to be overcritical of people, but he sort of burst onto the scene and he was going to be the next big thing. And then it didn't, for whatever reason, injury or whatever it was, because I know he did get injured.
Yeah, he's had his knees have been like terrible.
I think he's done his knees a couple of times.
Yeah,
Um, and maybe that's just, I mean, that's bound to affect your confidence and everything else. But he sort of never really lived up to the
no,
hype, the expectation, I think.
no.
Um, which it's cruel, but that's kind of
Oh, that's it, isn't it? Really?
the way sport goes, isn't it? So yeah, so but he's still. I don't think you can't count him out. He's still a bloody
No, he could be
rider.
up there.
Yeah,
He's a top tenner, maybe.
on his day is as good as anybody else.
Mm.
So yeah, so Hugo de Vries, David Fabian, he was runner up in trial 3 last year, I
Right.
think, that young lad. R1&4, um, Mark Freesia Jr. He's riding really well. I think, did he finish on the
Yeah.
podium? Did he win the trial 2 or whatever they call it in the Spanish Championship?
He might have done.
I think
Yeah,
he did.
he was on the podium, wasn't he?
Think he did. Yeah. Lorenzo Gandola, Billy Green, Sondra Hag.
Billy, I wonder what Billy had a really good season, didn't he, in Trial GP last year? So it'd be interesting to see if he picks up where he left off.
Yeah, I mean, if he can carry that momentum forward,
Yeah,
um,
because he was having like real strong
yeah,
finishes in that
yeah,
all
he was
year,
on the
really.
podium a good few times. Well,
Yeah,
he won
yeah, he did, didn't he?
one
Yeah,
round, and then he was on the podium a few times. Um, yeah, Billy's a bit of a conundrum for me because he seems to ride better almost at the World Championship than he does in the British,
yeah.
nearly.
Well, last year he definitely seemed to up his game for the Worlds.
Yeah,
I
it
thought.
seems to be able to sort of step it up.
Hmm.
It's a strange one. I remember um,
Yeah,
going way back, probably Rob Crawford was a bit like that too. Rob Crawford was brilliant
hmm.
at World Rounds, but never. I don't think he finished higher than third in a British Championship. But
Yeah,
he would have been the best British rider at world level.
yeah.
He's
Maybe
odd.
it's something like the sections suit them better,
Yeah,
or
yeah. Well, I mean, Rob was never shy at hitting something. Like
no.
he was. Yeah, hell of a rider. Um, Harry Hemingway.
That'd
Uh,
be interesting to see how Harry goes on.
yeah, I think I was actually chatting to somebody earlier about this, and I think
Strong, isn't he? But
I'm going to put him down for a top 5. I think he.
yeah, I'd be yeah, dangerous one, definitely. Isn't he? Top
Yeah,
five.
I think.
It's such a like. It's not just about riding ability, really. That class is it now. It's so much about having like a wise head on you, really, to
That's
sort
it. Yeah, yeah. It's a
of.
mental fortitude as well. You have to
Yeah,
have that kind of.
very well put.
Don't worry about that one.
Yeah,
Just popped out yeah, it's like a mental strength, isn't it? It's just when it becomes so competitive like that, you have
yeah,
to, it's like Dougie was brilliant at it
yeah,
back in the day, and like we mentioned earlier, Tony, about just
yeah,
grinding out a result, even if
yeah.
it's maybe not your best day.
It is.
Um, and I think
I
that,
think that's partly what wins you that trial two class. If
yeah,
it's going to be the same as last year, that
yeah,
because any of the top 10 could win easily. Like they've got the ability to
oh,
win, and they
absolutely,
just that winning,
absolutely.
being there each weekend sort of thing.
Um, who else is in that class then? Paul Martinez again. There's somebody I don't think's really lived up to the
No, not me.
sort of. He sort of came through as a younger rider on a 125, and then never really.
Yeah, it's sort of very burst onto the scene, and like with Jitsi, I suppose it make quite a lot
Yeah.
of noise about their riders and stuff, but never really seemed to.
He,
Yeah. Anyway, quite surprising.
no, it might take. He's still young yet. I mean, it could take a couple of years. I mean, again, say Dougie. Dougie
Mm.
didn't really do anything until he was about 17, and then he just kind of started winning, well, everything
Yeah,
after that. Who else? Jack Peace. Jack's good at just with a head there, just
yeah.
sticking it out and like we
Like
say,
he,
grinding out a result.
yeah. Like
Um,
considering he said he had a bad season last year, finished third or fourth or
third or
whatever it
fourth
was.
championship, you know.
Like, that's
I'm
what
sure,
that
yeah.
shows, isn't it?
It's bound to be disappointing for him, but I think he just seems to have that will to just keep plugging away at things. I do remember from being at Pobladura, I think is it Pablo Suarez? Is that like a home round for him? Because I seem to recall in 21 he hadn't been on the podium all year in trial 2 and he won both days. So read into that whatever you think. So there's always going to be that one.
He's going to be one of my tips for that class this year.
Yeah, I think so.
From what I've seen and heard,
I think so. Yeah, he's well, like I say, he's riding the top class in the Spanish Championship, so you'd think he's riding hard.
You look at his results in that against like other riders who are riding the GP class, and he's doing well. So
yeah. So Harry Turner, Oliver Smith. I'm just going through the British guys here. Jack Peace. I think we mentioned them all anyway. Harry Hemingway, Billy Green, Ben Dignan, Jack Dance. Yeah. So we've a few home runners in there that should.
Yeah, there's a lot of a bit like capable of a top 10 out of them names, isn't there? Or more. So
yeah, regularly.
Yeah. And then we got a few in the 1-2-5s as well, haven't we?
That's it. Yeah. Well, let me just.
G, like you said, and Jamie as well.
Jamie and G-Man. I mean, if you look at what G-Man's doing in Trial 2 in the British, you've got to think.
Yeah. I think he's.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know some of those other names. Like there's that young German lad I mentioned, Johannes Heidel, who I think might be a bit of a sandbagger, but I don't think he's.
I don't think he's much danger to.
No, I don't think so. So yes, so there's George Hemingway, Alfie Lampkin, and Jamie Galloway. Although I don't see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I thought Jamie's name wasn't on there, but it is. Young Australian fella actually there, Hayden Barwick. Don't know much about him, but we'll keep a wee eye out. He was riding for that Hipple.
Race.
Yeah. I think Connor Hogan. Did I see? I think I saw Connor Hogan's name actually in Trial 2 as well.
Yeah, I think he is going.
I wonder is Connor doing the Scottish again?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm sure.
He's done it before. He was a number beside.
Yeah,
he's quite a quiet lad, but then once you get kind of speaking to him, he was all right. He's quite a quiet fellow. There's another name. Sorry, there's another Paul Staudeagle. I think that's how you pronounce it. A German. Now I'm pretty sure he rode in a more senior class in the European Championship last year. So I think he could be a bit of a sandbagger there too. And there's another young Australian lad, Ben Walling. I've heard that name. So we'll keep an eye out for them as well. Yeah, so there's 18, not as many as I thought there might have been. There's 18 registered for that. Trial 3.
Still a healthy entry, that.
Yeah, still good.
I think it's more than it's been in some recent years too.
Yeah, still good. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, well, we could have a British 1-2-3 there.
We could do.
That would be.
Yeah, it wouldn't be silly, that would it, to bet on that?
No, don't think so.
They're all in with a chance, I'd say.
Yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to seeing how it goes with all these the new rules they brought in, and
yeah,
to have gone back on any. So
Yeah, you sort of forget about the new rules, don't you? I mean, what is it?
Yeah,
They're only allowed minders in half the sections. The
yeah.
minders,
Something about working on bikes only in
the
Park
minders aren't.
Worthy or something.
Yeah, the miners aren't allowed to work on the bikes at all. I don't think. They're not even
Yeah,
allowed to carry spare parts like they were before. Remember, they used to have the bags on the tank, like
yeah,
snacks and everything. I don't think they're allowed to do anything. I think they're only allowed to carry drink, water, whatever it is to drink.
yeah.
Um, so
That's just ridiculous, isn't it? But anyway, oh, we've probably spoke about that anyway, haven't we?
yeah, I don't know really why he would do that. I think that's a bit of a
Yeah,
strange one. But
it's hardly worth saying to say it's ridiculous because it's blindingly obvious to everybody else, isn't it?
that
Who's
it's
not involved
ridiculous.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah, the no minder thing, I think it's a bit. I mean, half the
Yeah,
sections. What is it? You know,
what you're trying to achieve there, just
how do they decide
hurting people.
which half? Yeah, which half of the sections it is, or do they have
Yeah,
a discussion with the riders and go, right? Do you need a minder there?
yeah. Do
I
they
don't know.
pick? Can they pick six that they want, or are they told it's these six? Or yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see how
That's
that
really interesting how it pans out. Yeah,
pans out exactly.
and the
Um,
old
I actually I meant to say earlier, I messaged Jack there just to wish him a bit of luck this weekend,
yeah,
and I said to him maybe if he has time. I know he's got quite a busy schedule because he's got Spain this weekend, Portugal the weekend after, and then straight to Scotland.
yeah,
But I did actually ask him if he would maybe come on again between
mm,
Portugal and Scotland. We can maybe do
yeah.
a quick episode sort of and see what he does for prep for Scotland and what he's hoping for this year. Because I reckon,
Goes well.
yeah, I think he could be.
Yeah.
I think he could be a favourite this year for it.
Mm,
So anyway, he was unlucky
yeah.
last year with
Yeah, he was up there
Friday
for
the Friday turning out to be his early day. That I mean, that's just a
yeah,
but that's what Scotland's like.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, with Alfie Lampkin riding, Doogie's attention might not just be as focused on his own ride. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. It's
No,
just a thought, but
I know. Yeah, there's some names that from like the national scene, like Sadler and people like that, that you can see like once they get in the mix up in Scotland, they do really well too, don't
don't
they?
they? I mean, yeah, Richard Sadler
Yeah,
was riding really well. I think he was in the same group actually. I think the early day on Friday sort of
yeah. I think he might.
scuppered him as well.
I think Toby's doing it as well this year for first
Toby,
time. So
yeah, I don't
see how he goes.
I don't like to say I don't think it's really Toby's type of going, but
Yeah, I don't really
um,
know, but
we'll soon find out.
he's not really bad at it, is he?
Oh well, that's it. He's
I know what
certainly
you mean, but
not
yeah,
bad. But I think probably with everything else that he's doing, um,
it's a different
it's the
style.
sort of thing you need to be sort of building up to it and practicing that type
Yeah.
well I need to even to just get round to be honest. But um yeah. Anyway, so yes, so fingers crossed. All being well, I appreciate he's got quite a busy schedule. But fingers crossed we can get him
Mm.
on again in the week leading up to Scotland, and
Yeah.
maybe even do something when we're in Scotland. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, see what we
Could
can.
do a little 10-minute one each night or something.
Yeah, we can maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, might be a bit noisy in Weatherspoons. But yeah, it'd be good. It would be good to do something.
Yeah.
We can do live videos or something
Love it.
maybe
Yeah.
on Facebook. So
Mm.
I think that's pretty much it. We'll eagerly anticipate
Yeah.
the outcome from this week's trial. See what happens there, and we'll
Best of luck
hopefully
to all the boys and girls over there.
absolutely best of luck to all the
Yeah.
British and even the Australians. There's a Japanese guy there. I forgot to mention him. There's actually a Japanese guy in trial too as well. Forgot.
Yohito.
That's him.
Yeah,
that's the one. It's good to see those guys over. I love watching.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That we're going to run out of time here in a minute, so we need to wrap up. But love watching that Japanese championship. Kuriyama was heroic on that electric bike. I'll put a link to a channel where you can watch the entire trial first round. So thanks for watching again. Thanks to SJ Trials for sponsoring this episode, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
See you later.